Jo Stanley is from Australia. First time at Radiodays?
It is my first time and it's wonderful.
It's great, isn't it?
It
And
is.
what a beautiful city to have it in.
Oh, it is very beautiful. I've enjoyed seeing the sights. I froze to death.
Yeah, it's
I
cold.
think one finger just snapped off and I left it in the bin. I didn't need it in the
But
end.
you power on through.
Yes.
Branding, your image, your sound, this is your area of expertise. How does a presenter develop a unique style?
Well, for me, personal brand is not necessarily about your image or your sound. It's about who you are. And the way you define that and make sure you stand out from the crowd is that you've got to go inward and work out who you are, Colm. It's not easy to do that, but you've got to ask some serious questions of yourself.
So I was jumping the gun a bit because finding out who you are, that will then speak to the sound and the identity and the style, I suppose, afterwards. That comes second, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You can't define your look or, it's not about logo, it's not about your social media presence. It's about how you interact with other people. Personal brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. That's how Jeff Bezos from Amazon defines it. And why do people talk about you when you're not in the room? It's because you made them feel something.
Okay.
So your personal brand is about deciding, how do I want to interact with someone and who am I to know that? Well, I've got to go back through my history. I need to know who the people and the events and the places and all the things that have happened to make me me. I've got to work out what my passions are. I've got to work out, why am I doing this? What's my purpose? Why am I talking to you? Why am I on radio? Who am I talking at on radio, and what difference can I make to them?
But I'm sure it happens a lot, Joe, that people say, I want to be on Today FM in Australia,
Yes.
or whatever it is. I want to be on the BBC World Service, so I have to act this way, and I have to ask these certain types of questions, and it might not be who they are.
No, that's right. And don't you think you can tell?
Yeah, you think most people couldn't fake it?
I just
Because the
think,
audience are intelligent, they'll see through it, won't they?
well, or there's just a sense. I think you can sense when people aren't being authentic. Or perhaps the more powerful thing is that when someone is being truly authentic, that's when you feel the power of their communication. So all the other people, you're like, yeah, not really taking much notice of them, but the people that are really authentic and speaking from the deep down truth of them, then they're the ones that you remember. They're the ones whose personal brand is really strong. I don't care what people wear or what their logo is or their social media, as long as what you're saying is really authentic to you.
How do you go about finding out what that identity is? I know a lot of young broadcasters, trying to navigate their world in a very difficult industry and trying to emulate their stars and whatnot. So for a young broadcaster listening to this now, what do you suggest to them?
I think you've got to go back to really basic questions about yourself, okay? What is it that I would never, ever compromise? You and I, I'm sure you're the same, interview thousands of people every year, some very, very famous brands. And you think about how have they made me feel, right? So what you're experiencing is their behaviour to you. And if it's been positive, then they must have very positive values. But if their behaviour to you is not great, maybe they're late or maybe they're rude, maybe they don't look you in the eye. Well, you've got to wonder, what are their values? So you go back and you ask yourself, what is it that I won't compromise in my behaviour towards someone? That's where you start. And you list your values. Then you work out, what am I passionate about? And then you work out, well, what are the things in me that are different to everybody else? What are my flaws? That's a fun area. You go, well, I'm someone who, unfortunately, I can't park a car. Or I'm someone who I'm very impatient. Or I'm someone who's terrible at the footy. I swear a lot. Whatever it might be.
And everything else follows after that.
Everything else follows after that.
Joe, it was great talking to you, and have a great Radio Days.
Yeah, thank you. You too.